A crack of thunder split Gotham's winter sky. Except it wasn't thunder, and the sky wasn't supposed to glow neon green. Harley Quinn landed in a crouch on the frost-slicked rooftop of the abandoned Amusement Mile warehouse, her breath misting in the December cold. Christmas lights tangled through the skeletal remains of roller coaster tracks behind her, blinking red and gold like dying stars. She wasn't supposed to be here. Hell, she was supposed to be decorating her apartment with tinsel and watching Die Hard for the 15th time while eating stolen gingerbread. But when you overhear two of Penguin's goons whispering about a special Christmas delivery that makes them look genuinely terrified, you follow the breadcrumbs. Or in this case, the trail of nervous cigarette butts leading to Gotham's most notorious neutral ground. The warehouse roof had a skylight, cracked, filthy, perfect for eavesdropping. Harley crept forward, her signature pigtails tucked under a black beanie, her usual red and black outfit replaced with tactical dark gray. She'd learned some things since breaking up with Mr. J, like sometimes you gotta blend in before you stand out. She peered through the grime-covered glass. Her blood froze. Below, illuminated by flickering industrial lights, stood a collection of Gotham's, no, America's, most dangerous minds. Lex Luthor, immaculate in a charcoal suit, gestured toward a holographic display showing a map of the United States. Major cities pulsed with red indicators. Gotham, Metropolis, Central City, Star City, Coast City. Beside him, Mr. Freeze's containment suit hummed with barely contained cold. Scarecrow loomed in the shadows, his mask tilted at an unsettling angle. Toyman, that creepy man-child, giggled while manipulating a toy soldier that moved with disturbing fluidity. And there, wrapped in vines and looking distinctly uncomfortable, stood Poison Ivy. Ivy, red. What the hell are you doing here? Harley's fingers tightened on the skylight frame. Gentleman, lady. Luthor's voice carried the smooth confidence of a man who'd checkmated God and made him pay rent. In 48 hours, Christmas morning will arrive. Families will gather. Children will open presents. And our coordinated strike will remind this world that hope is merely a commodity, one I intend to monopolize. A hologram shifted. Freeze's weather satellites. Scarecrow's chemical distribution network overlaid on shopping mall ventilation systems. Toyman's manufacturing plants connected to every major toy distributor in North America. Ivy's botanical research merged with Christmas tree supply chains. Phase 1, Luthor continued. Freeze generates a catastrophic winter storm over Metropolis. Superman will be occupied saving civilians from hypothermia and structural collapse. Phase 2, Scarecrow's fear toxin, disguised as pine scent in Christmas decorations, triggers mass hysteria in Gotham. The Justice League's attention divides. Phase 3, Toyman's products, already distributed, already wrapped, already under trees, activate simultaneously. Explosives disguised as gifts in children's hospitals, military bases, government buildings. Harley's stomach dropped. Phase 4, Ivy spoke softly, her voice carrying reluctance, is mine. Modified holly, mistletoe, and Christmas trees will release spores causing paralytic shock. Non-lethal, but effective. Indeed, Luthor smiled. While heroes scramble to manage 4 simultaneous crises, I deploy LexCorp's emergency response systems, at premium cost, naturally. Governments will beg for my technology. The Justice League will be exposed as inadequate, and I will have orchestrated the greatest holiday the world has ever seen, one where I am both villain and savior, where chaos proves order requires proper management. Toyman clapped his hands. And I get to watch Superman cry on television. Freeze's monotone cut through. My wife remains frozen. This grants me leverage for Luthor's resources, nothing more. Do not mistake my cooperation for enthusiasm. Your motivations are irrelevant, Luthor replied. Only results matter. We strike Christmas Eve, 48 hours, synchronize your operations. Dismissed. Harley didn't wait to hear more. She scrambled backward from the skylight, her mind racing faster than her pulse. Kids, hospitals, Ivy's involved, Luthor's playing 4D chess with people's lives. And Christmas, actual Christmas. Her boots slipped on ice-slicked metal. The skylight cracked. 6 pairs of eyes snapped upward. "Intruder!" Toyman shrieked. Harley didn't think. She punched through the weakened glass and dropped 20 feet, pulling her iconic mallet from her back holster mid-fall. She hit the concrete rolling, came up swinging, and caught one of Freeze's henchmen in the jaw with a satisfying crack. "Sorry to crash the evil Christmas party, fellas." She cartwheeled backward as Scarecrow's fear gas hissed toward her. Her toxin immunity, thank you, Ivy, kept her focused. But I gotta say, this is some next-level Grinch behavior. Freeze's cold ray froze the ground where she'd been standing. Harley vaulted over a crate, grabbed a rusted chain, and swung toward the exit. Toyman's mechanical soldiers emerged from the shadows, wind-up nutcrackers with actual machine guns. Because of course, bullets chewed through wooden crates. Harley twisted mid-air, threw 3 smoke pellets, and crashed through a second-story window in an explosion of glass and winter wind. She tumbled across an adjacent rooftop, sprinted along an ice-covered ledge, and didn't stop running until Gotham's neon sprawl swallowed her whole. 3 blocks away, gasping in an alley behind a Chinese restaurant, Harley pulled out her phone. The screen glowed in the darkness. She pulled up her contacts. Batman. She hesitated. They had history. Bad history. The kind involving Arkham Asylum and many attempts to blow him up. But this was bigger than their issues. She dialed. "Quinn." Batman's voice was gravel and distrust. "If this is another..." "Shut up and listen, Bats. Luthor, Freeze, Scarecrow, Toyman, and Ivy are gonna destroy Christmas, like actual Christmas. Kids in hospitals, fear gas and decorations, weaponized toys. It's happening Christmas Eve, 48 hours. You gotta..." "Harley." His voice carried practiced patience for the mentally unstable. "Luthor is currently at a charity gala in Metropolis. I'm tracking legitimate threats. If you're having an episode..." "I'm not having an episode. I saw them. I heard the whole plan." "You're saying Poison Ivy is working with Luthor?" "Yes." "And you expect me to believe this based on your word?" Silence stretched between them. "Get help, Harley. Oracle can recommend." She hung up, stared at the phone, screamed into the alley. Nobody believed the clown. Story of her damn life. Fine. She'd save Christmas herself. How hard could it be? Above her, snow began to fall. 48 hours until the world learned whether Harley Quinn was a hero or just another punchline. She twirled her mallet, smiled her trademark grin, and disappeared into Gotham's Christmas chaos. If you want to see more DC Universe stories where villains become heroes, hit subscribe and comment which character redemption you want to see next. Harley spent the next 6 hours doing what she did best, being absolutely, relentlessly annoying until someone paid attention. She tried the Justice League hotline, got transferred 4 times before a very tired intern explained that credible threat assessment requires corroborating evidence from verified sources. She wasn't a verified source. She was a punchline with a psychiatric degree and a rap sheet longer than the Batmobile. She tried Commissioner Gordon. He hung up after she said, "Merry Christmas," because the last time she'd called him during the holidays, she'd gift-wrapped 12 of his officers to light poles with explosive bows. In her defense, they'd been really pretty explosives. She tried Nightwing. He listened. God bless Dick Grayson's pathological optimism, but he was in Bloodhaven handling a blockbuster situation. "I believe you believe it, Harley," he'd said gently, which was therapy speak for you're delusional, but I'm too nice to say it. 23 calls, 23 dismissals. Dawn broke over Gotham like a bruise. purple and cold. Harley sat on the edge of her apartment building's roof, legs dangling over nothing, watching the city wake up. Christmas decorations blazed from every surface. Santa holograms ho-ho-hoed from store windows. Families hurried through streets carrying shopping bags and hope. 42 hours until it all went to hell. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Yeah. You're causing problems, Harleen." Poison Ivy's voice was silk and thorns. "Stop making calls. Stop asking questions. Walk away." Harley's grip tightened on the phone. "Red, what are you doing with Luthor? That ain't you. Plants and eco-terrorism, sure, but blowing up kids? Come on." "It's not. The spores aren't lethal. I made sure, just paralytic, reversible." "You're putting people in the ground so Luthor can sell the antidote. That's supervillain 101, babe." Silence crackled across the line. When Ivy spoke again, her voice carried something Harley had rarely heard. Fear. "He has leverage. My research, my plants, things I can't let him destroy. I don't expect you to understand." "Then help me stop him. Be the Red I know, not some corporate lackey." "I can't." 2 words, broken glass. "I'm sorry. Stay out of this, Harley. Please." The line went dead. Harley threw her phone across the roof. It shattered against a heating vent. She screamed. Raw, primal. The sound of someone who'd spent years being told she didn't matter finally, desperately trying to matter. Snow drifted down, silent, mocking. "Fine. Nobody believes me. I'll get evidence they can't ignore." She rappelled down her building, hit the streets, and made for Gotham's industrial district. If Scarecrow was preparing fear toxin for mass distribution, he'd need a lab. Somewhere off the grid. Somewhere with ventilation for chemical production and proximity to shipping routes. The abandoned Sionis steel factory fit perfectly. Harley approached at noon, when winter sun made the ruins look almost peaceful. Guard towers stood empty. Barbed wire tangled with Christmas garland, someone's idea of camouflage. She could hear machinery humming deep inside the structure. She went in through a collapsed wall, mallet ready, senses sharp. The interior was a nightmare made manifest. Industrial vats bubbled with luminescent green liquid. Chemical equations covered walls in Scarecrow's manic handwriting. Assembly lines packaged tiny vials into aerosol cans labeled Christmas Pine Fresh and Winter Wonderland Scent. Thousands of cans, tens of thousands. Workers, desperate Gothamites in hazmat suits, packaged product under armed supervision. Scarecrow's fear toxin, disguised as holiday air freshener, ready to ship to every major retailer in America. Harley's hands shook. This was real. This was happening. She pulled out her backup phone, stolen from a very surprised Wayne Tech employee that morning, and started recording. The vats, the labels, the workers, the shipping manifests showing delivery schedules to Target, Walmart, Costco, every big box store from coast to coast. Well, the Harlequin thinks she's a detective. Scarecrow emerged from shadows like a nightmare taking physical form, his mask tilted, studying her with clinical interest. "Tell me, Harleen, does it hurt knowing you'll never escape what you are? That every attempt at heroism is just performance art from a broken mind?" Says the guy whose whole shtick is making people see their fears. Harley kept recording, backing toward the exit. "You're projecting, Johnny." "Am I?" He gestured. 6 armed guards materialized, blocking her escape routes. "Or are you simply afraid that you're right, that this city will burn, children will suffer, and no one will listen to the girl who cried wolf too many times?" "I ain't afraid of you." Harley grinned, feral. "I'm afraid I'm gonna enjoy this too much." She threw 3 smoke pellets and moved. Not away, toward. Her mallet caught a guard's rifle, sent it clattering. She slid between 2 others, used one as a springboard, and launched herself at Scarecrow. He dodged, sprayed fear gas, but her immunity held. She tackled him, grabbed a sample vial from his coat, and rolled through an open window before the guards could reorient. She hit freezing water, the Gotham River, industrial runoff and all, and let the current carry her downstream. Bullets zipped overhead. She dove deep, held her breath until her lungs screamed, surfaced a quarter-mile away behind a rusty barge. Her phone was waterproof, military grade. Thank you, Wayne Tech. The video had uploaded automatically to her cloud storage. Evidence. Undeniable, time-stamped, GPS-tagged evidence. She crawled onto a dock, shivering, clutching the fear toxin sample. Her wet hair hung in her face. Her clothes clung like ice. But she was smiling. Try dismissing this, Bats. She sent the video to Batman, the GCPD, the Justice League, every major news outlet, and, because she was feeling petty, the Gotham Gazette's crime blog. Subject line: Christmas terror plot. Proof, not crazy this time. Harley. Then she collapsed against a shipping container, watching her breath mist in the December air. Her phone buzzed. Batman. Where are you? Dock 17, East Side. Freezing my ass off. Don't move. 20 minutes later, the Batmobile materialized from shadows like a mechanical predator. Batman emerged, cape billowing, carrying a thermal blanket. He threw it at her without ceremony. I watched the video. His voice carried something unfamiliar. Belief. You were right. Harley wrapped herself in the blanket, teeth chattering. Say that again. I want to record it. We have 39 hours to stop a coordinated terrorist attack on American soil during the largest holiday of the year. He studied her. I need your help. Harley Quinn, former psychiatrist, former villain, current nobody, looked up at Batman, the Dark Knight, the legend, the symbol, and realized something fundamental had shifted. Well, she said, standing on shaky legs, guess we're saving Christmas, Batsy. How's that for a redemption arc? The Batcave smelled like stone and secrets. Harley had been here exactly once before, unconscious, in restraints, and waking up to a very angry lecture about proportional response to property damage. This time felt different. This time, she walked in freely, dripping river water onto priceless crime-fighting equipment while Batman's various monitors displayed her evidence on loop. Alfred appeared with hot coffee and a disapproving eyebrow. Miss Quinzel, charming to see you haven't drowned. Missed you too, Jeeves. She accepted the coffee, wrapped both hands around the mug. Warmth had never felt so good. Batman was already working. 3 holographic displays showed Scarecrow's factory, Luthor's known properties, and a satellite feed that made Harley's stomach drop. Over Metropolis, storm clouds gathered, dark, unnatural, rotating with geometric precision. The temperature had plummeted 15 degrees in an hour. Freeze activated early. Batman's jaw tightened. He's testing the weather weapon. Why? Harley moved closer, studying the spiraling storm system. Luthor said Christmas Eve. That's 38 hours away. Because your interference changed the timeline. They know someone's onto them. They're accelerating the plan. He pulled up news feeds. Metropolis emergency services issuing severe weather warnings. Civilians evacuating low-lying areas. Superman already en route, cape streaming against black clouds. Another monitor showed Gotham. The fear toxin products had shipped that morning. Her evidence arrived too late to stop distribution. Thousands of contaminated air fresheners now sat on store shelves, in warehouses, in homes, waiting. They're gonna trigger it tonight, Harley whispered. Ain't they? Batman nodded. Freeze creates chaos in Metropolis, draws Superman away. Scarecrow activates the fear toxin in Gotham while I'm stretched thin. Then Toyman and Ivy execute their phases while the Justice League responds to multiple catastrophes simultaneously. Classic divide and conquer. So what's the play? There isn't one. Batman's honesty hit like a physical blow. I can't be in two cities at once. Superman will be occupied for hours managing Freeze's storm. Wonder Woman is off-planet. Flash is handling a crisis in Central City, probably another decoy. The rest of the League is scattered. We're exactly where Luthor wants us. Harley set down her coffee. Then we don't play his game. We change the rules. Elaborate. Luthor's counting on heroes acting like heroes. Predictable, noble, following protocols and saving civilians first. She tapped her temple. But I ain't a hero. I'm chaos with a conscience. And chaos don't follow rules. Batman studied her. You're suggesting we go after Luthor directly. I'm suggesting we cut the head off the snake while he's busy watching his plans unfold. He's the command center, right? Coordinating everything. We take him out, the whole operation falls apart. Luthor will be in his tower, fortified, surrounded by security and legal protections. We can't just... Can't you? Harley grinned. You're Batman. I'm the crazy ex-girlfriend of Gotham's most famous psychopath. Between us, we got detective work and demolition covered. We find where he's hiding, we crash through his fancy windows, and we stop him before kids start opening exploding teddy bears. Alfred cleared his throat. If I may, Master Wayne, the young lady has a point. Unorthodox tactics have occasionally proven effective. Batman was silent for a long moment. Harley could see the calculations running behind those white lenses. Every risk, every variable, every way this could go catastrophically wrong. Finally, Oracle, I need you. A screen flickered. Barbara Gordon appeared, red hair tied back, multiple monitors visible behind her. I've been tracking the situation. Harley's evidence was solid. What do you need? Luthor's location, real-time tracking. He'll have anticipated surveillance, so already on it. Barbara's fingers flew across keyboards. LexCorp Tower shows him in the building, but his private penthouse has signal jammers. However, his security team is communicating on encrypted channels, and they're terrible at operational security. Cross-referencing guard rotations with power consumption and... Got him. He's in his command center, sub-level 15, northeast quadrant. That's under the tower? Harley frowned. Thought supervillains loved dramatic views. Luthor's practical, Batman said. Sub-level 15 puts him behind 70 feet of reinforced steel and concrete, protected from everything short of a nuclear strike. So we dig. We don't have time to... The Batcave shook. Monitors flared red. Alfred steadied himself against a console. What in God's name? Barbara's face paled. Metropolis. Freeze's storm just intensified. Wind speeds hitting Category 5. Buildings are collapsing. Superman's signal is erratic. He's everywhere at once trying to save people, and a new alert screamed across every screen. Gotham City. Multiple reports of mass hysteria. Citizens attacking each other in shopping malls. Parents screaming about monsters crawling from Christmas trees. Emergency rooms flooding with people clawing at their own faces. Scarecrow had activated the fear toxin. It's happening. Harley's voice was hollow. It's actually happening. Batman moved with sudden, decisive violence. He pulled equipment from lockers, grappling guns, explosive charges, medical supplies, rebreathers, threw half of it at Harley. Put these on. Oracle, coordinate with Robin and Batgirl. Get them distributing fear toxin antidote to every hospital in Gotham. Alfred, prep the Batwing. We're going to Metropolis. We're splitting up? Harley strapped on utility belts, felt their unfamiliar weight. No, we're doing what you suggested, changing the rules. But first, we stop Freeze. Take his weather weapon offline. Superman can help with Gotham. Then we go after Luthor together. And if we can't stop Freeze in time? Batman's expression was granite. Then thousands die. Merry Christmas. They ran for the Batwing. Behind them, monitors showed Gotham descending into nightmare. Fear-crazed civilians fleeing imaginary terrors. Very real casualties mounting. Metropolis shook under impossible wind and ice. Somewhere, Toyman prepared his explosive gifts. Somewhere, Ivy's plants waited to release paralytic spores. Harley strapped into the co-pilot seat as the Batwing's engines screamed to life. "Hey, Bats, we're gonna stop this, right? We're gonna save Christmas." Batman launched them into Gotham's burning sky. Snow whipped past the canopy. Below, their city tore itself apart. "Ask me in 37 hours. They rocketed toward Metropolis at Mach 2, racing against time, against overwhelming odds, against the very real possibility that Harley Quinn's warning had come too late to matter. Metropolis was dying. The Batwing punched through storm clouds at 20,000 feet, and Harley's breath caught. Below, Superman's city twisted under Freeze's weaponized winter. Tornadoes made of ice carved through skyscrapers. Temperature readings showed -40 Fahrenheit and dropping. Buildings groaned under impossible weight as flash-frozen structural supports cracked like bones. And everywhere, Superman was a blue and red blur, catching falling civilians, melting ice with heat vision, holding up collapsing towers with bare hands. One man against a catastrophe, engineered specifically to overwhelm him. "He can't keep that up," Harley whispered. "He'll try." Batman adjusted their approach vector. "Oracle, locate Freeze's weather satellites, tracking 3 orbital platforms." Barbara's voice crackled through comms. "But they're hardened against EMP and physical attack. Freeze designed them to withstand everything short of Superman throwing them into the sun, which he can't do because he's busy saving lives." Batman's hands moved across controls. "We need to hit Freeze's ground control station, force him to shut down manually, or lose control of the system entirely." "And where's that?" LexCorp Research Facility Delta, 20 miles north of the city, abandoned industrial complex. Of course, Luthor gave him space to work. Harley checked her equipment. Baseball bat, check. Explosive charges, check. The fear toxin sample she'd stolen, tucked carefully in a reinforced container. Check. "How we playing this?" "Fast and loud. Freeze needs his cryosuit to survive normal temperatures. We crack that suit, he's vulnerable. 30 seconds exposure to room temperature and he's unconscious." "So we're trying not to kill the guy with terminal illness who's doing this for his frozen wife?" Batman shot her a look. "Just checking our moral compass here, Bats. Wouldn't want to accidentally do something heroic." The Batwing screamed down through storm clouds. Lightning, blue, cold, wrong, crackled around them. Ice formed on the canopy. Batman compensated, dove steeper, and they broke through at 500 feet, doing 400 knots. The LexCorp facility materialized from the blizzard, a sprawling complex of warehouses and laboratories surrounded by cryosuits and armed mercenaries. At the center, a massive satellite dish pointed skyward, pulsing with energy that made the air shimmer. "That's the uplink," Batman said. "Destroy it. The satellites go into safe mode and power down. One problem. See all those guys with guns? 43 hostiles. Mixed small arms and cryo weapons. Perimeter is..." Harley slapped the canopy release. Wind shrieked into the cockpit. "Less talking, more dropping." She jumped. Batman actually cursed. Harley heard it through her earpiece as she plummeted toward the facility, arms spread, laughing into the wind, because if you weren't laughing at your own insanity, what was even the point? She pulled her chute at 200 feet, came in fast and sloppy, crashed through a skylight in an explosion of glass and winter fury. Guards spun, guns rose. Harley was already moving. Her bat caught one merc in the knees. He went down screaming. She rolled, threw an explosive charge at a support beam, detonated it. The roof section collapsed on 4 more hostiles. Chaos. Beautiful, unpredictable chaos. "Harley!" Batman's voice was fury and static. "I'm creating an opening. You're welcome." The Batwing strafed overhead, non-lethal rounds hammering defensive positions. Batman rappelled down, cape spreading like predator wings, and hit the ground as guards converged. He was precision to her chaos, disarming, incapacitating, moving like violence made efficient. Together, they carved through the perimeter. Freeze's voice boomed through speakers. Impressive. The detective brings his new pet to die in the cold. How sentimental. The temperature dropped. Harley's breath frosted instantly. Ice crept across the ground, up walls, over equipment. Her toxin immunity meant nothing against hypothermia. Her fingers numbed, her joints stiffened. Batman grabbed her, pulled her behind a concrete barrier. His suit has localized climate control. 15-foot radius. We get close, we freeze. So we don't get close. We bring him to us. Harley pulled out the fear toxin sample. Scarecrow's special source, aerosol form. Freeze's suit has air intake vents for his condition. We get this into his system. He panics, makes mistakes. That'll kill him. Or he shuts down his weather weapon to save himself. Either way, Metropolis survives. Batman stared at her. When did you become tactical? I got a psychology degree from a real college, Bats. I ain't just pigtails and property damage, she grinned. So we doing this, or quoting philosophy while people die? He hesitated. 1 second where she saw the hero wrestling with the pragmatist. Then he nodded. Oracle, can you hack the facility's ventilation? Give me 30 seconds. They moved. Batman threw smoke pellets, creating cover. Harley sprinted through the chaos, combat boots skidding on ice, heading for the central laboratory. Guards fired blindly. She slid under bullets, vaulted over frozen debris, crashed through a reinforced door using pure momentum and bad decisions. Mr. Freeze stood before his controls, encased in his cryosuit, bathed in monitor light showing Metropolis's destruction in real time. Deaths tallied in the corner, structural failures, Superman's heat signature flickering with exhaustion. You cannot stop this, Freeze said calmly. Luthor promised me funding, resources, a cure for Nora. This is the price of love. Love don't kill thousands of people. Harley raised her bat. And Luthor's playing you. He's gonna take credit for stopping your storm, leave you holding the bag. Perhaps, but my Nora will live. That is all that matters. Oracle! Batman's voice through comms. Now! Ventilation systems hummed. Harley threw the fear toxin vial into an intake duct. It shattered. Green mist flooded the laboratory through ceiling vents. Freeze's suit filtered air automatically and pulled Scarecrow's toxin directly into his helmet. His scream was immediate and terrible. Whatever he saw, Nora dying, himself failing, the abyss of his own guilt, it broke him. His hands flew to his helmet, clawing, panicking. He stumbled into his controls, smashing keyboards, severing connections. The satellite dish outside powered down with a deep, resonant hum. Above Metropolis, 3 orbital weapons went into emergency shutdown. The storm began to dissipate. Freeze collapsed, convulsing, fear toxin burning through his system. Batman appeared, injected him with antidote, secured him with cryo-proof restraints. Metropolis is stabilizing, Oracle reported. Superman's already coordinating rescue operations. He says thank you. Harley slumped against a wall, shaking from cold and adrenaline. One down. How's Gotham? Barbara's pause was too long. Bad. Fear toxin is still active. Casualties mounting. Batgirl and Robin are overwhelmed. And Harley. Toyman just activated his toys. Explosions at Gotham General's Children's Ward. St. Agnes Hospital. Martha Wayne Memorial. He's targeting sick kids. The world tilted. Harley's vision tunneled. Sick kids, hospitals, presents that exploded, Batman's hand on her shoulder. We go, now. They ran for the Batwing. Behind them, Freeze wept behind his cracked helmet, screaming his frozen wife's name into the uncaring dark. The Batwing hit Gotham airspace doing Mach 2.5, and the city looked like hell had franchised. Fear toxin turned Christmas shoppers into rabid animals tearing at each other in the streets. GCPD fought to contain riots while wearing rebreathers. Fires burned in 3 districts, and from hospitals across the city, explosions bloomed like deadly flowers. Toyman's toys are rigged with proximity sensors. Oracle's voice was strained. They detonate when children get within 3 feet. Batgirl managed to evacuate most of Gotham General, but Martha Wayne Memorial and St. Agnes didn't get the warning in time. Casualty reports coming in now. Don't. Batman's voice was razored. Just tell me where Toyman is. His signal's bouncing across the city. He's mobile, probably watching his handiwork. But I've got something else. Harley, your friend Poison Ivy just activated her phase. Robinson Park, the Christmas tree lot. The trees they're moving. Harley pulled up the video feed. Her blood turned to ice water. Giant evergreens, 30, 40 feet tall, had grown animate. Roots tore through concrete. Branches lashed like tentacles, wrapping around fleeing civilians. But worse, people who got too close collapsed instantly, seizing foam at their mouths. The paralytic spores, Ivy's non-lethal contribution, except paralysis meant people couldn't run from the fear toxin, couldn't escape the animated trees, couldn't protect their children from Toyman's explosive presence. Non-lethal became lethal real fast when 3 catastrophes stacked. She promised me, Harley whispered. She promised the spores wouldn't kill anyone. She didn't account for compounding factors. Batman banked hard toward Robinson Park. Or she did, and chose Luthor's leverage over human lives. Either way, I gotta stop her. Harley's voice was hollow. Red's my best friend. More than that, sometimes. And I gotta take her down. Batman said nothing, which was its own kind of answer. They landed in the park's northern quad. The Batwing's doors hissed open, and Harley stepped into a nightmare made of chlorophyll and violence. Christmas trees had transformed Robinson Park into a hostile jungle. Vines thick as anacondas coiled around light posts. Holly bushes grew teeth. Mistletoe dropped from branches like poison bombs. And there, at the center of the green chaos, standing atop a massive oak decorated with human screams, stood Poison Ivy. She wore her usual, more plant than clothing, red hair cascading like autumn, skin the color of mint. But her expression was what stopped Harley cold. Not triumph, not villainy, just tired resignation. I told you to stay out of this, Harley. Yeah, well, I'm real bad at following directions. Must be why we're friends. Harley stepped forward, bat hanging loose in one hand. Red, please. Whatever Luthor's got on you, we can fix it. But you gotta stop. People are dying. People are always dying. Ivy gestured, and vines erupted from the ground between them. Humanity burns the planet daily. They poison the oceans, choke the air, murder ecosystems for profit. And you want me to care about a few casualties during Christmas? The season of consumption? These ain't corporations, Red. These are kids, families, people who got nothing to do with climate policy. They're all complicit. But Ivy's voice cracked. Don't you understand? Luthor has my research. Decades of work. Formulas that could revolutionize agriculture, end hunger, heal the planet. He'll destroy it all unless I cooperate. He'll patent it, weaponize it, turn everything I've built into profit margins and shareholder dividends. So you're killing people to save plants? I'm paralyzing people to save the world. Bullshit! Harley's scream echoed through the park. You're scared! You're making the same choice I made with Joker! Letting fear turn you into something you ain't. I love that psychopath, and he made me hurt people. You're letting Luthor do the same thing. Ivy's composure shattered. Vines lashed out. Harley rolled, brought her bat up, and shattered through the reaching plants. Behind her, Batman engaged the peripheral threats. disarming activated trees, administering antidote to paralyzed civilians, creating space for their confrontation. Harley charged. Ivy manipulated the environment. Roots tried to trip her. Branches swung like clubs. Spore clouds burst where she'd been standing. But Harley knew Ivy, knew her patterns, knew that for all her power, Red still thought like a scientist. Logical, predictable. Harley was neither. She threw her bat, not at Ivy, but at a propane tank near the park's maintenance shed. The explosion scattered flaming debris. Fire, Ivy's one true weakness. The plants recoiled reflexively, and Harley closed the distance. They collided, all fury and history and complicated love. Harley grabbed Ivy's wrist, twisted, used momentum to flip her onto frozen ground. Ivy kicked, connected with Harley's ribs. Pain exploded. Harley tasted copper but didn't let go. "I ain't letting you do this." Harley pinned her, faces inches apart. "You're better than Luthor, better than me. You taught me I could be more than Joker's punchline, so be more than Luthor's puppet." Ivy's eyes shimmered. "He'll destroy everything. Then we'll rebuild, together, like we always do." Harley's voice broke. "Please, Red, please, I'm begging you, stop this. Help me save these people, help me save you." For one crystallized moment, everything hung in balance. Ivy's hand rose. Whether to strike or surrender, Harley would never know, because that's when Toyman's voice crackled through every speaker in the park. "Merry Christmas, Gotham! In 60 seconds, every toy in every hospital, every home, every shelter goes boom! That's 4,000 explosive presents activated simultaneously. Not even Superman can stop them all." The countdown appeared on every screen, every phone, every digital billboard in the city. 0:59, 0:58, 0:57. Ivy's face drained of color. That wasn't the plan. He wasn't supposed to. 4,000 kids, Harley whispered. "Red, 4,000 kids." 0:50. Batman appeared beside them, already working his gauntlet computer. "Oracle, can you jam Toyman's signal? He's using a distributed network. I'd need to shut down every cellular tower in Gotham simultaneously, and that would kill emergency communications." 0:43. Ivy stood slowly, vines retreating. Her expression transformed, guilt into rage, into terrible purpose. "My plants! They can reach the hospitals, fast-growing tendrils. I can extract the toys before—" "You got 40 seconds to reach every location in Gotham," Harley said. "Even you can't. Watch me." Poison Ivy thrust both hands skyward and screamed. The sound was primal, ancient, the fury of nature itself. Every plant in Gotham responded. Roots erupted through hospital floors. Vines smashed through windows. Guided by Ivy's desperate will, vegetation invaded every location Toyman had targeted, wrapping around explosive toys, yanking them away from terrified children, dragging them toward open spaces. 0:15. Ivy's skin turned gray. Blood trickled from her nose. The effort was killing her. 0:08. "Red!" Harley caught her as she collapsed. 0:03. Batman pulled them both behind a concrete barrier. 0:00. Gotham detonated. Not hospitals, not homes, but parks, alleys, empty lots. Everywhere Ivy's plants had dragged Toyman's bombs. The city shook with coordinated explosions. 4,000 deadly presents, neutralized by one woman who chose redemption over self-preservation. In Harley's arms, Poison Ivy smiled weakly. "Guess I'm a hero now. How embarrassing." Then she passed out. Ivy's pulse was weak but steady. Batman administered a stimulant, stabilizing her while Harley held her best friend's limp hand. Around them, Gotham burned and bled and screamed. But for one moment, Harley let herself feel relief. Red had chosen right. In the end, she'd chosen right. "We need to move." Batman was already on comms. "Oracle, Ivy neutralized Toyman's explosive payload, but he's still active. Where is he? Tracking his signal now. Wait. Oh God. He's at the Gotham City orphanage. Harley. He's got hostages. 23 children. Staff incapacitated. He's making demands. Harley's world tunneled. The orphanage. She'd been there once, years ago. Joker had planned to gas the place as a joke. She'd sabotaged his plan, paid for it with broken ribs and cigarette burns. One of the many reasons she'd finally left him. What's he want? Barbara's voice was grim. He wants you, Harley. Says if you don't come alone in 10 minutes, he starts remote detonating toys he's hidden throughout the building. Says this is personal. Says you ruined his perfect Christmas. It's a trap, Batman said flatly. Obviously. Harley stood, checked her equipment. She was down to one explosive charge, her bat and a taser. But he's got kids, so I'm going. Oh, not alone. Batman moved to follow. Harley's hand on his chest stopped him. Yeah, alone. You go. He triggers the bombs out of spite. Toyman's a narcissistic man-child. He wants an audience for his tantrum. I give him that. Maybe I can talk him down, or at least get close enough to bash his skull in. Harley, bats, you got bigger problems. Luthor's still out there, coordinating this whole nightmare. Freeze is contained, Ivy's down, Scarecrow's toxin is everywhere, but Batgirl and Robin are distributing antidote. We're winning. But if Luthor adapts, if he's got another phase planned, you gotta be ready to stop him. That's your job. Mine's saving those kids. Batman studied her, really looked at her, maybe for the first time, not as Joker's ex, not as a criminal, as a person making an impossible choice because it was right. 10 minutes, he said. Then I'm coming in. Deal. Harley ran. Her legs burned, lungs screaming in the cold, but she pushed through 6 blocks of chaos to reach the orphanage. It stood on Gotham's east side. Victorian architecture, Christmas lights twinkling in the windows like nothing was wrong. Peaceful. A lie. She walked through the front door. The lobby was a slaughterhouse of toys. Mechanical soldiers lined the walls, machine guns tracking her movement. Teddy bears with blinking red eyes. Jack-in-the-boxes that vibrated with barely contained explosives. And in the center of it all, sitting cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by terrified children, was Toyman. Winslow Schott looked exactly like his name suggested, a middle-aged man in a sailor suit. Bowl-cut hair, round glasses, expression locked in permanent childlike wonder, except his eyes. His eyes were adult and cruel and utterly insane. "Harley!" He clapped his hands. "You came! I knew you would! Heroes always come!" "I ain't a hero, Winslow. I'm just someone who don't like seeing kids used as props for your issues." "Issues?" His face twisted. "I don't have issues. I'm a genius, an artist. I create joy. But you and Batman ruined everything. My beautiful synchronized explosions, my masterpiece, all those perfectly timed detonations, wasted." The children whimpered. Harley counted them, 23, ages 5 to 14, huddled together, crying quietly. Staff members lay unconscious in the corner, drugged or knocked out. Her hand tightened on her bat. "You wanted my attention, you got it. Let 'em go." "No." Toyman pulled out a device, a controller covered in colorful buttons. "See, I've been thinking. Luthor hired me for quantity. Boom, boom, boom. Lots of little deaths. But that's not art. Art is intimate. Art is choosing. So here's my new game. You pick 5 children to save. I let them go. The rest, well," he giggled. Boom. Harley's blood turned to ice. "You're out of your goddamn mind. 5 lives saved is better than 0. Come on, Harley. You're smart. You know triage. Pick the youngest. They have the most life ahead. Or the oldest, they've suffered more, deserve rescue. Maybe pick the pretty ones, or the ones who remind you of you. His voice rose to a shriek. Pick! I ain't picking shit. Then they all die in 3 minutes. Harley looked at the children, their faces, terrified, tear-streaked, looking at her with desperate hope that she could fix this, that the crazy lady could be a hero. 23 lives, 23 souls. She couldn't save them all, not in 3 minutes, not with this much ordnance. Even if she rushed Toyman, he'd trigger the controller. Even if she got them out, the mechanical soldiers would fire. There was no tactical solution. So she did what Harley Quinn did best. She changed the game. Okay, Winslow, you win. I'll pick. She walked forward slowly, hands visible, bat lowered. But first, I gotta know, why toys? Why make beautiful things meant to bring joy into weapons? What happened to you? Toyman blinked. What? I'm serious. I'm a psychiatrist, or was anyway. You got issues with childhood. Parents not love you enough? Someone break your favorite toy? I want to understand before I make your terrible choice. My father, he was a toy maker, a real one. Handcrafted wooden soldiers, dolls, trains. But corporations mass-produced cheaper versions. Drove him bankrupt, destroyed him. Toys were supposed to be special, and they turned them into disposable garbage. So you're mad at capitalism, but you're working for Luthor, the king of capitalism. Harley took another step. 15 feet. 10. That's some contradictory nonsense, Winslow. He paid me. He appreciated my genius. He used you, like everyone uses you, like your dad got used. You ain't a genius to Luthor. You're a tool, disposable, garbage. Toyman's face purpled. Shut up! Make me! He lunged. Harley was ready. She dropped her bat, caught his wrist, twisted the controller out of his grip, and hurled it through a window. It shattered on the pavement outside. The mechanical soldiers powered down. Dead Man's switch reversed. Toyman screamed, clawed at her face. Harley headbutted him, felt his nose crunch, threw him to the ground. Her fists became pistons. All the rage of this terrible day, all the fear and frustration and desperate need to save someone, channeled into making him hurt. Batman appeared in the doorway. Harley, enough! She stopped, breathing hard, knuckles bloody, Toyman unconscious beneath her. The children stared. Harley stood slowly, turned to face them, and in the gentlest voice she could muster, "You're safe now. Batman's gonna get you out of here, okay? You're gonna be fine." A little girl, maybe 6, pigtails like Harley's, stepped forward. "Are you a superhero?" Harley looked at Batman, at the broken Toyman, at her bloody hands. "Nah, kiddo. I'm just someone trying real hard not to be a supervillain anymore." The orphanage evacuation took 12 minutes. Batman coordinated with GCPD while Harley helped children navigate through the toy-strewn corridors, whispering reassurances, making stupid jokes to stop their crying. One boy, maybe 8, missing his front teeth, hugged her leg before his social worker pulled him into an ambulance. She watched them drive away, lights flashing red and blue against the smoke-stained sky. 3 threats neutralized, Batman said, joining her on the orphanage steps. Freeze contained, Ivy incapacitated, Toyman arrested. Scarecrow's fear toxin is being countered. Batgirl reports 70% of Gotham has received antidote. Casualties are significant, but manageable. That leaves Luthor. Yes. Harley turned. Batman stood silhouetted against Gotham's burning Christmas lights, cape billowing in winter wind. For all his legend, all his power, he looked tired, human. You got a plan for the bald billionaire? Oracle's been tracking communication between the villain coalition. Now that 3 of 4 attacks have failed, Luthor's adapting. He's going public. Batman pulled up a hologram from his gauntlet. Every news channel showed the same feed. Lex Luthor, perfect suit, perfect hair, standing before cameras with manufactured concern carved into his face. Tragic events prove that vigilantes and so-called heroes are inadequate for modern threats. While Batman and his associates scrambled ineffectually, LexCorp's emergency response teams provided real solutions. Our fear toxin antidote, our cold weather survival gear, our bomb detection systems, these are what saved lives tonight, not masks and theatrics. The camera loved him. He looked presidential, savior adjacent. In light of these catastrophic failures, Luthor continued, I'm announcing LexCorp's new initiative, the Humanitarian Defense Network, a private security force equipped with cutting-edge technology operating independently of government oversight or vigilante interference. Because Gotham, because America, deserves protection from professionals, not psychologically damaged individuals playing dress-up. Harley's jaw clenched. He's spinning this whole thing, making himself the hero while we look like we barely stopped his own plan. Worse, he's using tonight's chaos to justify privatizing emergency response. If he succeeds, LexCorp controls crisis management nationwide. He manufactures the disasters, provides the solutions, and consolidates power. Batman's voice dropped. He's been playing a different game the entire time. So we expose him, tell everyone he orchestrated this. With what evidence? Freeze Scarecrow, and Toyman won't testify against him. He has leverage on all of them. Ivy's unconscious. Your video from Scarecrow's factory shows the fear toxin operation, but doesn't directly implicate Luthor. Legally, he's untouchable. Then we stop playing legal. Batman looked at her. Explain. We got what, 30 hours until Christmas morning? Luthor thinks he won. Thinks we're too busy mopping up his mess to come after him. So we don't mop up. We go straight for his throat. Break into LexCorp Tower, find evidence of his coordination, force a confession, or just beat it out of him the old-fashioned way. That's assault, breaking and entering, possibly torture depending on interrogation methods. Batman. Harley grabbed his cape, forced him to look at her. Tonight, kids almost died. Thousands almost died. Gotham's traumatized. Metropolis is wrecked. And Luthor's gonna walk away richer and more powerful while painting us as the problem. You really gonna let legal technicalities stop you from doing what's right? Silence stretched between them. Gotham burned in the background. Sirens wailed. Somewhere, families checked if their children were safe. Oracle, Batman said quietly. Assemble the team. Everyone available. We're raiding LexCorp Tower in 1 hour. Barbara's pause carried weight. Batman, if you're caught breaking into a private corporation without evidence, then I'm caught. Relay the message. 1 hour. The comms clicked off. Harley grinned. Look at you, breaking rules. I'm a terrible influence. You're reckless, unpredictable, and tactically unsound. Batman started walking toward the Batwing. You're also right. Luthor ends tonight. 53 minutes later, they gathered in the Batcave. Not just Batman and Harley, the whole damn family. Nightwing, still dirty from Bloodhaven, cracking his Eskrima sticks with barely contained energy. Red Hood, checking his guns with methodical precision, the red helmet hiding whatever Jason Todd was thinking. Batgirl, exhausted from distributing antidote but standing firm, Oracle's tactical genius made flesh. Robin, Damian, sharpening his sword with focused intensity. Even Red Robin had made it back from his Titan's mission, looking half dead but refusing to sit this one out. And then there were the wild cards. Catwoman slunk from the shadows, all curves and confidence. Heard you're robbing the richest man in Metropolis. I'm in. This isn't about theft, Batman said. No, but it'll piss him off, and that's payment enough. Deadshot leaned against a computer console, rifle slung casually. Waller heard about your little crusade. Sent me as a goodwill gesture. Also, she wants Luthor taken down a few pegs. Bad for her business when he consolidates too much power. And I came because someone has to make sure you don't kill anyone, said the final arrival, stepping into the light with impossible grace and strength. Superman. He looked like he'd been through a war, cape torn, suit scorched, but those blue eyes still carried hope like a weapon. I helped coordinate Metropolis recovery. Freeze's storm caused billions in damage, but everyone's alive, mostly. Now I want the man responsible to answer for it. Batman met his gaze. You understand what we're doing here violates about 15 laws. I understand that Lex Luthor orchestrated a terrorist attack on American soil during Christmas and plans to profit from it. Sometimes the law is insufficient. Superman's jaw tightened. Sometimes you need a different kind of justice. Harley felt something shift in the cave. These were heroes, real, legendary, impossible heroes, and they were following Batman's lead into something dark and necessary. Because of her evidence, because she'd refused to stay silent. LexCorp Tower, Batman pulled up schematics, is 70 stories of security, armed guards, automated defenses, and Luthor's personal paranoia made architecture. We have one advantage. He doesn't know we're coming. Oracle will handle electronic warfare. Superman provides the muscle for breaching reinforced barriers. Nightwing and Red Hood clear the path. Robin, Red Robin, and Batgirl secure our exit routes. Deadshot provides overwatch. Catwoman handles security systems Oracle can't crack remotely. And me? Harley asked. Batman's expression was unreadable. You're with me. We find Luthor together. You started this. You finish it. The Bat family moved with synchronized precision, gathering equipment, running final checks. Harley stood in the center of it all, feeling the weight of the moment. Hey, Bats, she said quietly. Thanks for believing me. Finally. Don't thank me yet. We still have to survive the next hour. They loaded into vehicles. Batwing, Batmobile, Nightwing's bike. Superman took to the air. The convoy launched from the cave, heading toward Metropolis, toward LexCorp Tower, toward a confrontation that would either save Christmas or destroy what remained of their already questionable reputations. Harley checked her bat one last time, smiled her trademark grin, and whispered to the darkness, "Merry Christmas, Luthor. We're coming for you." LexCorp Tower pierced Metropolis's skyline like a monument to ego. 70 stories of steel, glass, and corporate dominance. Security lights swept the perimeter. Guards patrolled every entrance. Automated turrets tracked movement with mechanical precision. The building was a fortress designed by the world's smartest man to keep out the world's most dangerous heroes. They hit it from 6 directions simultaneously. Superman punched through the reinforced glass of the 42nd floor. The impact triggered alarms that Oracle immediately silenced. Nightwing and Red Hood breached the underground garage, disabling 12 guards in 40 seconds with a brutal efficiency that made Harley whistle appreciatively through comms. Batgirl and Robin rappelled down the eastern face, cutting power to defensive systems floor by floor. Red Robin hacked into the server room remotely, feeding Oracle access codes faster than LexCorp's countermeasures could adapt. Catwoman slipped through the ventilation system like smoke, bypassing biometric locks with tools that were definitely not legal. Deadshot set up on a building across the street, scope painting targets, finger hovering over the trigger with professional patience. And Batman piloted the Batwing straight through the front lobby. The reinforced canopy shattered. The vehicle crashed through marble floors, scattering security personnel and million-dollar art installations. Batman emerged from the wreckage, cape spreading, every inch the dark night. Harley jumped out behind him, bat in hand, grinning like this was the best Christmas present ever. "LexCorp Security," a voice boomed through speakers. "You are trespassing on private property. Lethal force is authorized." "Let 'em try," Harley muttered. Automated turrets descended from the ceiling. Harley dove behind a reception desk as bullets chewed through marble. Batman threw explosive batarangs. 3 turrets exploded in sequence. Harley rolled out, threw her last explosive charge at a support column. The detonation brought down a chandelier that crushed 2 more defensive positions. Security teams poured in, private military contractors equipped with advanced armor and weapons that definitely weren't commercially available. Batman moved through them like violence choreographed by a perfectionist. Harley was chaos to his precision, unpredictable strikes, wild angles, using their own tactics against them by virtue of being impossible to predict. "Oracle," Batman spoke into comms between takedowns. "Luthor's location. Sub-level 15, northeast quadrant, exactly where I said before. He's locked down hard, blast doors, jamming signals, the works. You'll need Superman to breach." "On my way," the Man of Steel's voice crackled through. "Floors 42 through 60 are secure, heading down now." They converged on the executive elevator, Batman, Harley, and 30 seconds later, Superman, who tore through 3 floors of reinforced ceiling like tissue paper. The elevator had been disabled. Superman ripped the doors open, revealing the shaft descending into darkness. "Hold on!" Superman grabbed them both. They dropped. 50 stories in freefall, Superman controlling their descent with impossible precision. Wind screamed past. Harley's stomach relocated somewhere near her throat. They landed in the sub-level with a sound like a car crash. The blast doors stood before them, 10 feet of reinforced titanium, biometric locks. Probably enough explosives in the frame to level the building if breached incorrectly. Superman's eyes glowed red. Heat vision carved through metal like butter. The door collapsed inward, revealing a command center that looked like it coordinated alien invasions. And there, standing calmly before a wall of monitors, was Lex Luthor. He didn't look surprised, didn't look worried. He looked like a man who'd planned for exactly this scenario. "Batman, Superman, and Miss Quinzel, congratulations on your unexpected competence." Luthor adjusted his cufflinks. "I assume you're here for a confession? Perhaps evidence of my alleged coordination of tonight's events?" "We know you orchestrated everything," Batman growled. "Freeze, Scarecrow, Toyman, Ivy. You recruited them, funded them, gave them targets. Prove it," Luthor smiled. "My lawyers have already prepared defenses. I was at a charity gala during Freeze's attack, 300 witnesses. My communications show no contact with any of the perpetrators. LexCorp's emergency response was purely humanitarian. You have suspicions, not evidence." "We have Ivy," Harley said. "She'll testify. Pamela Isley, currently comatose from catastrophic botanical overexertion. She's hardly a credible witness. And even if she wakes, I have documentation showing she stole proprietary research from LexCorp. Her cooperation was coerced by her own theft. She's a victim of her own crimes." Superman stepped forward, and for a moment, Harley saw what terrified humans about him. Alien strength barely constrained by human morality. "You killed people tonight. Children almost died. Give me one reason not to drag you to the authorities. Because I committed no crime. You broke into my building, destroyed property worth millions, assaulted my security personnel. If anyone's facing charges, it's you." Luthor spread his hands. "By all means, drag me to the authorities. I'll be released within an hour, and you'll be international fugitives. Is that really how you want this to end?" The monitors behind him showed the aftermath. Gotham burning, Metropolis recovering, news coverage painting Batman and his allies as reckless vigilantes who barely contained a crisis they probably caused. "He's right," Oracle's voice through comms was bitter. "Legally, he's untouchable. Every contingency covered. Even if we had recorded confessions from the other villains, his lawyers would bury it in litigation for years." Luthor's smile widened. Perhaps next time, approach with evidence before theatrics. Harley felt something snap inside her. This smug bastard had orchestrated terror, profited from fear, almost killed thousands, and he was going to walk because of lawyers, because of money, because the system was built to protect people like him. She pulled the taser from her belt. "Harley," Batman warned. "Nah." She advanced on Luthor. "See, here's the thing about being crazy, Lexi. I don't care about legal. I don't care about consequences. I care that you tried to ruin Christmas, and you're standing here smiling about it." Luthor didn't flinch. "If you assault me, you prove my point. That vigilantes are dangerous, uncontrolled." She tasered him. 50,000 volts dropped him like a puppet with cut strings. He convulsed, gasped, collapsed. Not dead, not even seriously injured, just hurt, just scared, just finally vulnerable. Harley leaned down, grabbed his perfect collar and whispered, "I got a psychology degree, remember? I know your type. You ain't afraid of Superman's strength or Batman's detective work. You're afraid of irrelevance, of being forgotten. So here's my Christmas gift to you. I'm gonna make sure that every time someone says your name, they remember you're the guy who tried to weaponize Christmas and got stopped by a clown girl from Gotham." She pulled out her phone, somehow still working despite everything, and took a selfie with Luthor's unconscious form. Posted it to every social media platform with the caption, "Stopped the real Grinch. Merry Christmas, Gotham. Not all villains stay silent." Within seconds, it went viral. Batman grabbed her arm. "We need to leave, now." They ran, back through the wreckage, past unconscious guards, toward extraction points. Behind them, LexCorp Tower stood violated, and Lex Luthor lay defeated, if not legally accountable. Sometimes, Harley thought, justice wasn't about courts. Sometimes it was just about making the bad guy hurt. 22 hours until Christmas morning. Gotham stabilized. Metropolis began rebuilding. The fear toxin had been mostly neutralized. Casualties treated, fires extinguished. It should have been over. It wasn't. Harley's viral post, now at 47 million views and climbing, had done exactly what she intended. The world saw Lex Luthor unconscious, defeated, humiliated. His carefully constructed narrative crumbled. Questions exploded across news networks. Why was Luthor in his command center during the attacks? Why did Batman raid LexCorp specifically? What was he hiding? But Luthor was Luthor. He adapted. Breaking news. Every television in the Batcave suddenly switched to the same feed. Luthor stood before cameras again, this time with visible bruising on his face. Evidence of Harley's taser turned into martyrdom. "Tonight, I was assaulted in my own building by Batman and his associates, including known terrorist Harley Quinn. They destroyed millions in property, injured security personnel, and violated every principle of law and order." He paused for effect. Perfect timing, perfect manipulation. "I am therefore activating the contingency I hoped never to use. LexCorp's humanitarian defense network is now operational. Private security forces are deploying to Gotham and Metropolis to restore actual order. And I am officially calling for the Justice League's disbandment and the arrest of all vigilantes operating outside legal authority." The feed cut to streets. Hundreds of personnel in advanced armor, LexCorp's private army, rolling through both cities in armored vehicles. They weren't attacking, they were protecting, setting up checkpoints, securing key infrastructure, looking heroic and professional while Batman's team looked like criminals who'd attacked a philanthropist. "He's staging a coup," Oracle breathed, "using tonight's chaos as justification to deploy a private military force. He's literally taking over both cities." Superman's face was stone. "I'll stop them." "No." Batman's voice cut like a blade. "That's exactly what he wants. Superman attacking LexCorp security on camera? It proves every accusation he's making. We need another approach. We need evidence, Nightwing said. Real, undeniable evidence that he orchestrated the attacks. Which we don't have, Red Hood snapped. So what? We just let him win? Harley stood in the center of the arguing heroes, her mind racing. They were thinking like heroes, legal approaches, public opinion, evidence chains. But Luthor wasn't thinking like a villain anymore. He was thinking like a chess player who'd sacrificed pawns to control the board. Unless he ain't won yet, Harley said quietly. Everyone stopped arguing. Luthor's got one weakness, one thing he can't control. Which is? Batman asked. Ego. Harley's grin spread. He's convinced he's the smartest guy in every room. Convinced he can predict every move, counter every strategy. But he ain't predictable. We are. So what if we do something he can't predict? Elaborate. We give him exactly what he wants. We surrender. The cave fell silent. Absolutely not, Superman said. If we surrender, he wins. He gets his narrative, his private army, everything. Unless, Harley continued, the surrender is bait. See, Luthor's counting on us fighting back, gives him justification to escalate. But if we walk into GCPD, turn ourselves in, publicly cooperate, he loses that narrative. And more importantly, he gets cocky, confident, makes mistakes. Batman's eyes narrowed behind his cowl. You want him to monologue? I want him to gloat. Every supervillain does it. I did it. Joker did it. Hell, I bet Bats has stopped at least a dozen plans just by letting the bad guy explain their genius. She pulled out her phone. And when he does, I record everything. We get the confession we need, but not through violence or illegal surveillance, through him being too damn proud not to brag. That's insane, Batgirl said. She's insane. Red Hood gestured at Harley. What did you expect? It could work. Everyone turned to Batman. Luthor's psychological profile supports it. He views himself as intellectually superior. If we appear defeated, if he believes he's won, he'll want someone to acknowledge his genius, especially his white lenses fixed on Harley. Especially you. You're the one who exposed him, the one who hurt him. He'll want to prove he was always 3 steps ahead, and he'll do it in a way that demonstrates his superiority. Harley felt the weight of the plan settling on her shoulders. So I walk into GCPD alone, confess to attacking Luthor, let them arrest me, and wait for him to come gloat. He'll have you in a controlled environment, Oracle warned. Probably recorded everything himself as insurance. This could backfire spectacularly. Then I better be real charming. Superman stepped forward. If this goes wrong, if Luthor tries to hurt you, then you come crashing through the walls, all heroic-like. I know the drill. Harley looked at each of them. Legends, icons, heroes, and they were trusting her, actually trusting her. But it ain't gonna go wrong. I spent years studying narcissistic personality disorders. Luthor's textbook. He won't be able to help himself. Batman pulled something from his utility belt, a small device, almost invisible. Audio transmitter. Oracle will monitor everything. The moment we have usable evidence, you come get me, and we end this for real. Harley took the transmitter, tucked it behind her ear beneath her hair. How do I look? Arrestable? You assaulted a billionaire philanthropist on camera, Nightwing said. You look extremely arrestable. Perfect. 2 hours later, Harley Quinn walked through the front doors of GCPD headquarters. No weapons, no theatrics. Just a woman in torn clothes, covered in soot and blood, looking tired. Commissioner Gordon stood at the desk, and his expression cycled through shock, suspicion, and weary resignation. Harley. Hey, Commish. I'm here to turn myself in for assault, break-in and enter-in, and probably a dozen other charges. You gonna arrest me? Or should I just show myself to a cell? I know where they are. Gordon studied her. Behind him, officers drew weapons, uncertain. The room held its breath. "Why?" Gordon finally asked. "Because I'm tired of running. Because I did something wrong, even if it was for the right reasons. And because—" She looked directly at the security cameras, knowing Luthor was watching. "Someone's gotta take responsibility for tonight. Might as well be me." Gordon handcuffed her, read her rights, led her to interrogation, and in LexCorp Tower, watching through hacked GCPD feeds, Lex Luthor smiled and reached for his coat. The endgame had begun. The interrogation room was exactly as Harley remembered. Gray walls, fluorescent lights that buzzed like dying insects, a metal table bolted to the floor, and the smell of old coffee mixed with desperation. She'd been on both sides of this table, psychiatrist evaluating criminals, criminal being evaluated, now something in between. Gordon sat across from her, a case file open but ignored. "You want to tell me what really happened tonight?" "I already did. Broke into LexCorp Tower, attacked Luthor, got the whole Bat family in trouble." "And why would you do that?" "Because he—" Harley stopped herself. The transmitter behind her ear was live. Oracle was listening. Batman was listening. But Luthor wasn't here yet. She needed to wait. "Because I'm crazy, Cumish. You read my file. It's what I do." Gordon leaned back, studied her with eyes that had seen too much of this city's darkness. "I've known you for years, Harley. Arrested you, watched you, tried to help you. And I've never seen you do something without a reason. Twisted, maybe, but a reason. So I'll ask again. Why?" Before Harley could answer, the door opened. Lex Luthor walked in like he owned the building, which, given his political donations to GCPD, he basically did. Perfectly tailored suit, despite the late hour, that politician's smile, visible bruising on his face from the taser, worn like a badge of honor. "Commissioner Gordon, I hope you don't mind. I'd like a moment with Miss Quinzel." Gordon's jaw tightened. "This is a police interrogation. And she assaulted me. I have every right to face my attacker, especially given that I'm not pressing charges." Luthor's smile widened. "I believe in rehabilitation, Commissioner. Perhaps Miss Quinzel and I can reach an understanding." Gordon looked at Harley. She nodded slightly. He stood, reluctant, and left them alone. The door clicked shut. Luthor sat across from her, perfectly composed, and for 30 seconds said nothing. Just studied her like she was a specimen. An interesting failure. "You surprised me," he finally said. "That doesn't happen often." "Yeah?" Harley kept her voice steady. "How so?" "I calculated every variable. Batman's response patterns, Superman's moral limitations, the Justice League's protocols. But you were chaos, unpredictable. You actually convinced them to act outside their boundaries." He leaned forward. "Tell me, how does it feel knowing you've destroyed their reputations? That your viral post, your assault, gave me everything I needed to justify taking control of emergency services in 2 major cities. Feels like I messed up. You did more than that. You gave me martyrdom, victimhood, public sympathy. My private security forces are already being hailed as heroes while Batman's team hides in shadows." Luthor's eyes glittered. "But I want you to understand something, Harleen. This was never about tonight. Tonight was theater." Harley's pulse quickened. "What do you mean?" "I've been planning this for 3 years, recruiting individuals with specific psychological profiles. Freeze's desperation, Scarecrow's sadism, Toyman's narcissism, Ivy's environmental zealotry. I gave them targets, resources, coordination. I created a crisis specifically designed to overwhelm traditional heroes and demonstrate the need for privatized, corporate-controlled security infrastructure." "You're confessing." "I'm educating." Luthor smiled. "Because nothing you heard in this room is admissible. No warrant, no official capacity, no Miranda rights. I can tell you every detail, and legally, it means nothing. I orchestrated a terrorist attack on American soil during Christmas, and I will face zero consequences, because I'm smarter than the system designed to stop me. Why tell me then? Because someone should appreciate the artistry. Batman's too rigid, Superman's too naive. But you understand what it means to operate outside conventional morality. You know what it's like to be underestimated. He leaned closer. I'm offering you a position, Harleen. Work for me. Your psychological expertise combined with my resources could reshape how we approach superhuman threats. You'd be legitimized, respected, no more Arkham Asylum, no more being dismissed as Joker's crazy ex-girlfriend. Harley let the offer hang in the air. Behind her ear, the transmitter recorded everything, every word, every confession. That's real tempting, Lex. But I got one question. Which is? How's it feel knowing you just confessed everything to every hero in Gotham? Luthor's expression froze. Harley grinned. See, you're real smart. But smart people got a fatal flaw. They think everyone else is dumber than them. You assumed I walked in here alone. Assumed I wasn't wearing a wire. Assumed wrong. The wall exploded. Superman crashed through brick and steel, followed by Batman swinging through the opening. Red Hood came through the door, guns up. Nightwing dropped from the ceiling vent. The room flooded with heroes in 3 seconds. Luthor stood slowly, and his smile never wavered. You think a recording matters. My lawyers will have it dismissed as entrapment. Inadmissible. Not this time. Commissioner Gordon entered, holding a tablet. That recording was made during a legitimate police interrogation on GCPD property. Miranda rights don't apply to voluntary confessions from non-suspects visiting crime victims. And you just detailed multiple counts of terrorism, conspiracy, murder for hire, and domestic terrorism. He gestured to uniformed officers flooding the hallway. Lex Luthor, you're under arrest. Luthor's composure cracked. Just for a moment. Just enough. This won't stick. My legal team will be very busy, Batman said quietly, because Oracle just released your entire communication network with Freeze, Scarecrow, Toyman, and Ivy to every major news outlet simultaneously. Financial records, encrypted messages, shell company transactions, everything. And your private army? Superman stepped forward, already standing down. Turns out when their employer is arrested for terrorism, they're not so eager to follow illegal orders. Luthor was handcuffed, led away, for the first time in his life, utterly defeated by someone he'd underestimated. Harley stood, rubbing her wrists. Gordon unlocked her cuffs. You're free to go, Miss Quinzel. Hell, you're probably due a commendation. Nah, I'm good. She looked at Batman. We done? Almost. Batman pulled something from his utility belt, a small wrapped box. It's still technically Christmas Eve. You saved it. You should have something to open tomorrow morning. Harley took the gift, surprised. Bats, did you just do something nice? Don't get used to it. She walked out of GCPD into Gotham's pre-dawn darkness. Snow was falling. Real snow this time, not Freeze's weaponized version. Christmas lights still twinkled on buildings. Families were safe. Kids would wake up to presents that didn't explode. Harley looked at the wrapped box, then at the bat signal blazing against clouds, then at the city she'd just saved. Merry Christmas, Gotham, she whispered. And for the first time in years, she actually meant it. Christmas morning arrived quiet and cold over Gotham City. Harley Quinn sat on her apartment rooftop, legs dangling over the edge, watching the sun rise over a city that had come within hours of destruction. Below, families emerged cautiously, testing whether it was safe to celebrate, whether the nightmare had truly ended. She opened Batman's gift. Inside, a key card to the Batcave and a handwritten note in Alfred's elegant script. for emergencies, or tea, whichever comes first. Her phone buzzed. Messages flooded in. Nightwing checking on her. Gordon sending official thanks. Even Superman's "you did good" in his characteristically earnest way. But the one that made her smile was from Poison Ivy, awake now, recovering. "You saved me from myself. Again, I owe you Christmas dinner. No exploding plants. Promise." The news played on every screen across the city. Luthor arrested, his conspiracy exposed, his empire crumbling under federal investigation. LexCorp's forces had withdrawn. Real heroes, flawed, messy, human heroes, had saved Christmas. Harley Quinn, former psychiatrist, former villain, current something in between, stood and stretched. The keycard felt heavy in her pocket. Not a burden, a promise. That redemption wasn't about grand gestures or perfect choices. It was about showing up when it mattered, even when nobody believed you, especially then. She looked at the bat signal, still visible in the morning light, and whispered, "Thanks for believing, bats. Merry Christmas." Below, a child laughed. A pure sound, the sound of a future that almost wasn't. Harley smiled, tucked the keycard away, and headed inside. Tomorrow would bring new problems, new chaos, new chances to prove herself. But today she'd saved Christmas. And that was enough. New worlds await. More stories soon.